Okay, so I tried to post this video by uploading it and it wouldn't let me. But I was basically explaining what I've been going through since September, and now it's about to be November. My son, he's been dealing with the whole thing since the end of June. So basically, how I get attitude is I find out that I'm pregnant in September, and I also, at the end of September, and I also find out I have a rare bacteria in my urine. I find this out at Central at the hospital, in the emergency room. Not only did they not tell me or discuss anything about it with me, but they did not give me any treatment for it. Flash forward to October, mid-October, and it turns out that the rare bacteria was MRSA. And so they gave me a 5-day treatment, and I have to get my blood cultured 3 times, and by the 3rd time I should be okay. With my son, and then what brings my son back into it is that he had banged his head on Wednesday, the day that I found out, like, oh yeah, I have MRSA. And then he has a boil, and it grows on top of his eye, in his eyebrow. Which now it went down, and his little scar looks way better than my scar and everything. But what bothered me is that I found out about it at the end of September when we were both asymptomatic. We weren't getting boils or anything from it. And yet, Central did nothing. Which then we took him to the walk-in clinic, and they still refused to do anything, basically. They prescribed him an antibiotic and a steroid, because she's like, oh yeah, his eczema might be acting up again. And it's just like, okay, just because he has a history of eczema, that's not even why we're here. We're here for the oozing wound over his eye. And I wanted to see it get cultured to make sure it wasn't MRSA. Because he should go ahead and get cultured too. Because if it is MRSA, then he has to get cultured 3 times and stuff to find out when it's gone from him also. So I don't know why she was refusing to do it. And then what's crazy is, like I said, oh yeah, I'm a CNA and I was healthy in June and stuff. She's gonna be like, oh, but did you get your nose swabbed? So she was letting me know like 2 times over, because when they cultured mine, they just did it from my elbow wound, from my boil on my elbow. But with EJ, her saying like, oh, did you get your nose swabbed? That means that it was even more less invasive of a test than that. Like, they didn't even have to swab his oozing wound over his eye. They could have just swabbed his nose and found out. Which at the hospital, they're trying to sit here and act like, oh, it's just MRSA, it's just a form of staph. Everybody walks around with staph all the time. It's just not a big deal and stuff. It just depends on your tolerance or your immunity level at the time, whether it's going to affect you or not. Plenty of people are walking around like that all the time, so it's not a big deal. But when we're at Family Dollar, before we went to the appointment to get snacks, I'm like, I'm getting snacks because I don't know how long these people are going to have us waiting. Because last Sunday had us waiting 9+ hours. One girl with braids, there was 2 cash registers open, and one girl with braids was talking to the heavier set girl, and you could just see like they were whispering stuff back and forth to each other. And also you could feel the tools they were using. Like, they had turned off the AC, they had the belly bloat machine on and everything. So they were just doing everything to make me feel like I'm about to pass out and stuff. And after I had purchased my items from the heavier set girl, she gonna start using a whole lot of hand sanitizer. And it's like, okay, so when we're at the hospital, they're gonna try to make it seem like it's not a big deal and I shouldn't be thinking about a fucking lawsuit because they don't want to be sued. But then when I go out in public, they're sitting here telling people my personal private medical information, being like, oh yeah, watch out for the 2 of them because they got MRSA. And this is the shit that I go through with being droned and being targeted and other stuff, is that I don't have any privacy, not even a natural type of privacy where you feel like you're alone in the shower. No, I feel like, yeah, I know that there are people standing in the shower with me, knowing how I take my showers and things. Like, I have absolutely 0 privacy. Like, even laying down here, I'm pretty sure, like, that what's the name? That smoke alarm, which they were using on us when we first came back. They were sounding the alarm like on purpose to make me wake up. And I was like, oh, good, they're doing that. That means that, like if you look up this smoke alarm on the internet, it looks just like surveillance cameras that are made to look like smoke alarms. So I'm pretty sure it's not even like a real smoke alarm. I'm pretty sure it's some sort of surveillance camera. And then also it runs on batteries, but it's also wired to the electricity and other stuff to the house. So they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is just a regular smoke alarm. But it's really not. Because, like, why does it need batteries and it's also wired to the main wiring of the house? Like, why is it doing both ways, you know? If it's just a smoke alarm. But, yeah, but that's what I've been dealing with. I've been in and out of hospitals for all the rest of the summer and stuff ever since I I got fired from my job in August. Trying to get me and my son adequate health care and help because his skin has been on the decline since the end of June, since he got back from his dad's house. And we just been barely receiving help. Nobody wants to actually run tests. Nobody actually wants to take any due diligence, or even, to me, I mean, at UVA, they at least covered our ass to protect their license. You know, like they at least are running the blood work and putting it into our, you know, our medical files and stuff. Well, my medical file, because he's not at UVA yet. But at Centra, no, they're like, oh, that was our mistake. We ran tests. You know, like, no, they're not even trying to run tests. And it's like, no, your mistake was not running a test. Your mistake was running a test and then not providing treatment. But now you're sitting here not providing tests, talking your way out of not giving tests and things. Yeah, that's even more suspect. Like, why are you not doing diagnostic tests, but then you're prescribing drugs? Like, that makes no sense. Like, and I know somebody's like, well, it's just this, like, it's just an antibiotic and it's just a steroid. But no, you're doing this for his eczema. Nobody even came in talking about his eczema this time. We came in talking about the boil over his eye, which you didn't want to run culture on. All you had to do was swab the boil or sit here and swab his nose, just like you said. So it's a completely invasive test that y'all are capable of doing, that you understand and know how to do. So I don't understand why it's like such a hard thing. But yeah, I'm just kind of over Centra. And I'm over my mom too, because every time I have these little skirmishes and stuff, she either wants to sit there and make me seem crazy, she either wants to sit there and make everything seem fine. Like, she kept on lying to these people, telling me something, EJ's eating this, EJ's eating that, when he had lost 2 pounds. He had just lost 2 pounds at the end of her summer, which now his weight looked like it went up to 29. But the only reason why he might be gaining weight is because the steroid. You know, this might just be fluid and other things, and they're not also weighing him while his shoes are on and other stuff. So I don't really think he's actually gaining weight, because he really just doesn't look heavy, and his legs are getting all little and stuff. But I think that's also because of the steroid too. So it's kind of making him look like he's gaining weight and stuff, but he's really not. Which, to be honest, I might stop giving him a steroid, because the drones are still doing what they're doing, and his skin is still staying worse. Like, I remember the first time he did the steroid, everything kind of cleared up and got better, but now this time his legs are just getting all skinny a little, and it just looks like it's not helping him that much anymore, like how it was the very first time. Which pisses me off, because that's why I didn't want to put him on steroids. I didn't want to be altering his composition and stuff, and how his natural progression of his health is, of what these predatory, pedophilic drones are doing. Honestly, I feel like it's, I just know that they have to be recording this, and it's some sick freak who's getting off on it, honestly. But, yeah, that's the shit I've been dealing with. These people have just been invading my privacy on every level that they can, and then trying to spread it like, oh, but we know this because it's for your protection. It's to keep everybody else safe from these people. And it's like, no, I'm actually fucking impoverished. Barely receiving help to take care of myself or my son. And right now I'm pregnant with twins. Which was also a thanks to the drones, because when I went to the health department to try to get on birth control and everything else, instead of telling me the honest truth that I was pregnant at the time when I was trying to get fucking birth control, they sat there and lied and put me on a double dose of birth control, which if you know anything about birth control, they cancel each other the fuck out, and they also can't harm existing pregnancies. So now I'm sitting here fucking pregnant with twins, still being harassed to death, still having my son being harassed to death, and everything else. And even now I'm making this video, the best thing they can think to do is, oh yeah, let's wake up her son and have him crying in the background. Like, that's the best thing they can think of to do. Like, oh no, she's saying the truth about us and she's gonna upload it. Let's wake up her son, because he was just dead asleep just now. And I'm doing this video for the second time because of the upload issue I was having before. But yeah, that's what I've been dealing with.